Welcome to another episode of Handsome. It's me, your friend Tig Notaro, with my co-hosts.
I'm May Martin.
And I'm Fortune Feimster.
And we're
so
here.
handsome.
And here.
And we're queer.
So
and
get used
some
to
people
it.
haven't gotten used to it.
Some people are so not used to it. And I feel bad. You guys were just recording ads without me because I'm sick.
What happened, little cowboy? You got a cold?
Well, thanks for asking. Unfortunately, yeah, I don't know. Everybody's got that like chest thing, and it's not. Oh, it's so boring. But I just had an IV this morning. They came to my house and did one of those like.
Oh, yeah. I like those.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I guess when Rihanna's hungover or whatever, I don't know why I went with her, but.
Who's Rihanna? Oh, the singer.
Rihanna?
Yeah.
Rihanna? Wait.
Did you think I was? Yeah. Wait, you say
say
Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Truly, I was like,
say Rihanna.
Is this like a pasta thing?
It might be. I think it is. I thought it was Rihanna, but I could be wrong.
But also, why her? Does she get?
I don't know why my brain went there. I'm hoping, I don't know, that I'll be extra funny today because I'm like closer to the void. Like the veil between worlds is thin, you know? So, you know, when you do a show and you're sick and you're like, I'm never going to get through this. And then it's weirdly good because you're like trying hard and you're kind of out of it.
I always am surprised before I go on stage when I'm not feeling well how it is never an issue when I'm on stage. Like the adrenaline overrides all.
Completely.
It's really, I mean, that's my experience, but it's pretty crazy. And how are you feeling, Fortune?
I'm feeling pretty good. I went on a hike. I was in the pool this morning doing the treading in water.
Oh my God.
I know, I'm a pillar of health.
It.
And you're up to an hour now, right?
I have done an hour, but I'm averaging 45.
That's impressive, man.
So I got up early, got in the pool, started doing some of that, and then realized I had a little extra time. So then Jax and I went on a hike.
Nice.
Because I've just been really busy. But I've been trying to get some fitness stuff in the mornings before all the crazy work stuff.
That's always so good. You feel just, you know, pumped and ready to go for the day. And it's always good to just have your plan or your goal, and then you just don't let anything get in the way of it.
Yeah, because
like, I'm doing this.
If I don't get to it, then I don't always get to it. I mean, if I don't get to it first, I don't always get to it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be better about that. Although I have been heating the pool like when I go to bed, and so when I get up, it's
like a warm bath. You're slipping into a warm bath.
Jax got in it the other day, and she's like, "It's like a hot tub in here." She's like, "Our gas bill is going to be astronomical."
Was she treading with you, or was she just floating around talking about finances?
She loves floating around talking about finances. She got in right after me because I had to start my radio show, and she's like, let me try this treading water thing. But we don't have a deep end, and we're both really tall.
You don't have a deep end?
No, it's like 5 feet.
Oh, whoa.
I've had to do a kind of a sort of breaststroke, like treading thing. So I'm kind of
like tucking
scooting around in a circle.
Well, and that's the thing, is it doesn't matter as long as you are staying afloat.
Yeah.
Because I've been in pools like that where I just swim or, just do other strokes that I think maybe I made up.
You should patent some strokes, Tig.
I have many to show you.
Oh,
and they're little, they are the treading forms that I have, or strokes that I've come up with.
Pioneered.
And I challenge you, Fortune, though.
Okay.
To tread water in an unheated pool.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
You do
Why
that?
It gets harder and harder.
I have done it, and I'm telling you, when I've gotten out of the pool that was not heated, after treading water for 1 hour, I felt like like King Kong. I was just like, roar. I had so much energy. I was so, my whole day I was on like cloud 9.
That's like an insane cold plunge.
Yeah.
Well, did you know that when you do cocaine, your dopamine increases 2.5 times, but it maxes out at 9 minutes and then it starts plummeting again. But when you do a cold plunge,
did not know that.
In a cold plunge, it's 2.5 times as well, same as cocaine, but it lasts for 2.5 hours and it's climbing the whole time. Ooh. Like the 2.5 hours after, your dopamine is still going up. So yeah.
All these coke addicts need to just jump in a cold river.
Yeah.
They probably are. They're probably doing that too.
Chasing the
I'm
dragon.
Telling you, when I tread water in a cold pool, my whole day I'm amped.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll heat it a little, but not as much.
No.
No, Tig wants you to go.
I can't imagine getting in there for an hour in a cold ass pool.
Let me be honest. Let me be totally honest. I mean a pool that is not heated in the summertime.
Yeah, I mean LA's not crazy cold, but it dips to like 40 at night.
Yeah, yeah.
So in the early morning, you're talking about a pretty chilly pool.
Yeah, well, in the summertime, in the morning.
Okay.
That version of a chilly pool, once it warms up, I challenge you to that.
In the summer, for sure, I'm going to be scooting around that cold pool.
In fact, I'm going to come over and we'll scoot around together.
Please.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Put it on the list, Thomas.
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be good for immunity?
I feel like swimming and cold water, that's good for everything.
When you guys were kids, did your parents have any weird like home remedies when you were sick? Like my mom used to grate an apple with a grater. So it was just a bowl of like grated apple.
My grandmother had a lot of homemade remedies because that's, how older folks of that generation, they would be like, I've got a book and it tells me all the things that I need to do. Like she would have an aloe plant. Mm-hmm. So if there was a sunburn, she'd break off a piece of the aloe stem.
Well, sure.
But her favorite remedy was putting in a suppository.
No, stop. What do you mean her favorite?
When you have a sunburn?
I mean, hey.
When you have a sunburn, you put in a suppository?
Just any ailment. She'd be like, I think you need a suppository. And
oh my God.
I don't know. But I was young, so I didn't know.
How many suppositories did you get?
I think I had a lot.
Oh my God.
And did you insert it yourself or did...
Yeah, I didn't have my grandma put anything up my butt. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh my God, but how...
But she'd be like, oh, your tummy hurts. I know what you need. I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Did you start to just keep your ailments to yourself? Because you're like, I know what I'm getting.
If my head hurt, here's a suppository. So I didn't tell her I was gay. Hey-o.
Hey-o.
Girl, no, you did not.
But for real, a lot of suppositories. I think that was an old school, like, they just felt like that was the thing. You had to clear it out.
Just get it out of your butt. Yeah.
Get it out of your butt. Or drink a Coca-Cola.
So to get it out of your butt, you have to put that in there?
Yeah.
So you're putting yet another thing in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yet another thing.
It was not pleasant. I haven't had one since she's died.
I wonder where she got that, if it was like intergenerational suppositories or if she just kind of was into it.
Well, we have a long line of people in our family. Her mother did it for her, and her mother did it for her.
Was she ever at an age where she was confused and was like, I have to put an aloe plant in your bottom?
Once I hit 16, I think I stopped the suppositories. So that was when she started.
16?
I mean, maybe 15.
Fortune.
Man, isn't it crazy?
Once I could drive out of there. And
go buy your own suppositories. I never hear that word anymore.
I know, because it was very old school. That's the word, right? Suppository, the thing that is in your butt.
Very much, yeah. I just think it's crazy that when you're a kid, you just are like all right, I guess. Like whatever anyone tells you is going to make you feel better. You're just like, you got to do it until you turn 16.
I also had, when I was born, really blonde hair like this. Like right now, my hair is pretty blonde. Mm-hmm. And as I got older, it started getting a little darker. And she was like, oh no. Like
suppository time.
We got to get those blonde curls back in there. So when I would go to T-ball, she would...
We gotta get those blonde curls back in there. Like it's we couldn't pop. What were they turning brown?
They were just getting a little darker.
They're probably turning into like normal adult hair from being like toddler hair.
I was only 5. I would go to T-ball and she was like, well, you're already going to be out in the sun. She goes, she would squeeze lemon juice all over my hair.
Yeah, my mom
This woman sounds like a mess.
Yeah, I would go play T-ball with lemon juice on my hair, but she didn't take
a suppository in your...
She didn't take into consideration that at some point I would sweat, and the sweat would bring the lemon juice into my eyeball.
Oh my God.
So I'm like trying to hit a T-ball and like swinging all over the place because I can't see anything.
Well, whenever I would go out to eat with my family, my mother would, I guess I could have gone into the bathroom to wash my hands like a civilized person with soap and water. But my mother would always take the lemon off the table and squeeze the lemon juice in my hands and have me rub my hands together.
Really? That's very sticky, no?
No, it's a natural remedy.
Unless you have a cut on your hand and then you're screaming.
Then you're screaming.
Sure. Yeah. Well, if that happens, just grab a suppository.
Yeah. Or an aloe. A strip of aloe.
I have at the moment, I was putting on moisturizer, I guess. And then my girlfriend had these you're on board? It puts the lotion on it. We were talking about that
Put the lotion in the basket.
Yeah. And so my girlfriend has these self-tanning drops. And so I added them to the moisturizer. I added a couple, put it on my face, and then I wake up in the morning and I don't know if you can see. I'm not giving you the finger, but it's brown. It looks like I have poo on my finger.
It does look like you have a poo
looks
finger.
Looks like somebody was doing a suppository.
I know. It looks like this fake tan is pooled around my middle finger and I have just a poo finger now and I don't know what to do.
What an interesting
a poo finger
thing if somebody was only tanning a portion of one finger.
Yeah.
Do you self-tan, Fortune? Would your
no.
grandmother want that?
I went to a tanning bed once in high school because that was all the rage in the late 90s was the tanning.
Also in the 80s. Let's not forget my elderly crew.
Shout out.
You know who has a tanning salon attached to their salon is our friend Debbie.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. You can go get your hair cut and then you can, in the same building, you could go get a little tan. Oh, a drop of sun never did anyone any harm.
Oh.
Debbie's still rocking a tanning bed. I didn't know people still sold minutes.
Well, you have to, right? In England, because isn't it overcast most of the time?
Totally.
I've never done tanning or sunburning. However, this last summer, we had such an outdoor circus festival of a summer that I got the tannest I've ever been.
Really?
And people were constantly mentioning how tan I was. I mean, you could not get our family indoors. We were at every beach in the world and climbing every mountain and biking and surfing and surfing lessons. It was quite a summer.
Seems like it.
Yeah, so I just did a natural tanning.
Well, you look gorgeous.
I guess I was just waiting to hear that. Should we get into our question?
Let's do it.
Yeah, well, today's questioner is best known for the late night shows he hosted for nearly 30 years, including Late Night and The Tonight Show. His hit podcast is called Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and he's one of the funniest people on the planet. That's right, we got our handsome friend, Conan O'Brien, to ask us a question.
Oh, man.
Whoop, whoop.
Hey, Handsome Pod. Conan O'Brien here. And my question is, if you could go back in time and stop any one thing from happening,
oh man,
what would it be?
Whoa, one thing that you could stop.
I was gonna say I'm starstruck from hearing his voice. I've met him like 2 or 3 times. I'm like a deep fan. I think he's probably one of the reasons I started doing comedy.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Man,
I used to watch him when I was growing up, and the masturbating bear and everything.
Like how silly he was, and not and how self-deprecating, and yeah. And then that's someone who, like, you know, meet your heroes. He was so funny when I met him, and I was like, thank God, he's exactly like you think he's gonna be. You know,
I grew up watching him like high school into college. But Tig, you had some pretty epic Conan appearances. I think I watched the one of you scooting the stool across the stage many a times.
Yeah, that was fun. I ruined their floor when I was dragging the stool around.
Seriously?
Yeah, there's one part of the stage is, I guess, plexiglass, where they have lights underneath the plexiglass. And I popped up onto that area with the stool and started dragging it. And they had to replace that whole portion of the stage. And then Conan told me that after I left that day, the sound engineer would play that through the speakers when they were doing run-throughs, just to drive everybody insane. Just the sound of the stool dragging on the stage.
Oh my god,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
you really left a mark.
Well, I have 2 other personal favorites of times that I went on Conan. One was when Stephanie and I, before we were an item, I wanted to act like, I called her, and I wanted to act like I was just, that I didn't even care that I was on TV and just talking to someone.
That was in your documentary. It was great. You said, you said, oh, wait, I got to take this real quick. He's like, all right. You guys played so well with each other. And then Stephanie answers, goes, hey, what are you doing? You go, oh, nothing.
Yeah. You go, I'm just talking to this guy. Yeah, that was great.
And then my last one that I really loved was John Doerr, another Canadian, one of the funniest people, I think, alive. He and I went on there, and we did a whole bit about Goldilocks.
Yes,
and,
I remember this.
That was one of my...
I don't think I saw John Doerr one. I gotta Google
John
it.
Doerr. Yeah, he's so funny. God, he's so funny.
So you would come up with these bits before you would go on to... You're like, I think this could be funny, and you would just run it by Conan, or you would surprise him?
Well, I had like this ongoing list of ideas that I had, like that didn't feel like it quite worked for my stand-up, and I would think, oh, what can I do with this? And then when I would be asked to go on the show, then I would talk to the segment producer and just run it by them. And but it got to a point where they would tell me, oh, Conan trusts you, you can do whatever you want. And so I didn't even really have to run anything by them. In fact, the Stephanie part, he didn't really know what was happening.
Oh, wow, that's fun.
Yeah. He's so funny.
Yeah.
So in his question, is he's saying in history what we would stop?
Yeah, I guess you could interpret it as stop an event from your own life, or more broadly
or historical
from history.
If you could go back in history and stop one thing, what would it be?
I mean, I have a bunch of things coming to mind.
I know you probably have some facts coming our way.
Well, I don't think so. It's more like I'm wondering if you whatever extinction event happened that killed the dinosaurs, if you stopped that from happening, would humans have still evolved, and then it would have been us and the dinos at the same time on the planet? Because that would be pretty cool. It might have humbled us, to have not be the apex predator.
So you would want dinosaurs wandering around with us?
Yeah, stop the extinction
I think
event.
we would have gotten eaten, right? Would we have even made it out of that time?
It would be really hard to let Max and Finn go out and play. And just be like, keep an eye out for the dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm scared of coyotes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so you want to stick with that?
No, I'll rethink that now that I'm thinking about Max and Finn, and I don't want them to have to be like scurrying around little holes underground trying to hide from dinos. So, no, you're right.
Well, it's not just about Max and Finn, but I would be very concerned about them, you know, because they love playing outside, and be really stressful if there was a T-Rex that was in the neighborhood.
And the whole premise of Jurassic Park is basically like, you think you want this, but you don't.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah,
you would hear da 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 da. You'd see the dinosaurs. Oh my God, this is amazing. They're majestic and gorgeous, and then
do you know what happened? I talked about this in my animated special on HBO, but it is a real story. I used to work in childcare, and this woman that I worked with drove me batty. Okay. Drove me batty. And I was cleaning up the room, sweeping one day, and she came in and she was talking, and I was like, okay, yeah. Was not paying attention. And then I heard her say, yeah, and then the dinosaurs started eating everybody. And I said, wait, what are you talking about? And she said, have you not heard about it? And I said, no. And she said, oh, yeah, the science, she explained like the science behind it and how dinosaurs came back and they were eating people. And I was like, right now? And there was such a miscommunication. I couldn't believe how casually she was telling me that they had brought dinosaurs back and that they're running around eating everybody. I was like, what the hell are we doing here talking about this? We gotta go. I mean, it was terrifying. And I missed that one little chunk of information that it was a movie called Jurassic Park that was out now. I was not familiar. Yeah. But yeah, I just was so used to tuning this woman out, and man, was it terrifying.
What was it about her that drove you so batty? Just annoying, just one of those people.
Yeah, just one of those jobs where such a different mix of people end up working together. And I think about it all the time, actually, when I'm on tour. Well, when I was on tour in the early days and staying at kind of low rent motels, and I would I'd drive up, show up to this place. It was so seedy, and then behind the desk is like an 80-year-old woman with a gray-haired bun on her head, and then like a 19-year-old goth kid, and they're both employees working behind the counter.
Yeah.
On the night shift. And I'm always like, how are they getting through? What are they talking about?
Yeah.
What is happening here? And so it was kind of a similar thing in that job where, you know, there was somebody maybe my age. I think I was like, I don't know, 22 or something. And then she wasn't like a gray-haired bun on the head lady, which if you are, that's fine. I'm 2 steps behind you with the gray-haired bun on my head. I'm just saying, like, people from crazily different worlds working in these types of jobs.
It used to be like that in England when I started touring, you'd go with a bunch of comedians that you didn't know, and you just see if anyone was driving, because England's so small, you're just like driving up to Glasgow or something, and you'd end up on these like 6-hour drives with these random comics, and that you'd be like, we would never cross paths in life. This weird assortment of, I remember this one guy was going to drive me up to like Newcastle or something. We were going to do a show, and then we'd been texting, and he'd been texting like, oh yeah, I'll pick you up XX. Because in England, everyone does X, and then I get there, and I got my little guitar to do my musical comedy, and then I get in the car, and he goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing. I thought you were a girl." So I was ending all the texts on XX, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is back when I, yeah." Anyway,
wait, he thought you were a girl.
So he thought he was texting a girl, so he was ending all the texts with XX and like being really sweet, and I guess talking differently than he would to like a blokey male comic. So then I got in the car, and he thought I was a blokey male comic, so he was like, oh shit, sorry, I thought because of your name that you were a girl, so I was texting you with all these X's. It was so uncomfortable because then we had a 6-hour drive together after that.
So what
he's
did
like,
you
I take back my exes.
You didn't identify as non-binary then?
No, so I was like, I am a girl. And he was like, oh, yeah, oh, sorry. Oh, anyway. So what's this show we're doing? Like, they're so embarrassing.
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
In those situations, I just go way overboard trying to make the person feel comfortable and not
them feel
embarrassed. So I
better.
was just like, anyway, I think you're such a good comedian.
I am a boy.
Yeah, whatever you want me to be, I can be. Or like in Serbia, I went on tour in Serbia and I ended up in this car with all these like weird Serbian comedians drinking this plum liqueur that they were passing around, and they're smoking in the car with the windows up. And I was just like, what is this job? Like, yeah.
Is there a big comedy scene in Serbia?
No, it's really in its infancy. And so you got
I would imagine.
Totally. And you have these Serbian guys who are basically imitating American comics that they're just discovering. So you've got like the guy who's doing Mitch Hedberg, and you got the guy who's doing it's crazy. Yeah.
There's like a small scene in Budapest too. That's trying to start. Had you gone to do any comedy there?
No, have you?
I have not either.
You just heard on the grapevine.
I just heard. I've had a friend that randomly went and did a show there, and they were trying to get a little scene going.
Get the handsome crew out there.
Out to Budapest.
Serbia first.
On the handsome pod. Internationally.
Now not to come out of Fortune's solo that she's taken there. Yeah, apologies. I was thinking, I'm forgetting what that time period is. I guess it was around World War II, just when everything became. Oh, like the Industrial Revolution, was that around World War II?
Around like it
before World War I, so around 1900-ish.
Okay, I have a 7th grade education, so my apologies, but
I can Google
that is
it.
the time that concerns me the most, because I feel like that's when the planet started to go to hell.
That's so true. So if you could like isolate like the one guy who invented like petrol like combustion engines or something, that man, because that's when Dickens was writing, and the way he describes just like the thick smog in London, and he said that the Thames River was like a poisonous snake from all the like chemicals, and he described like these piston heads of the big machines, and he said that they moved like a crazed elephant that was stuck in its cage at the zoo and just going nuts and moving its head. That always haunted me.
It said it started in 1760 and it ended in 1840.
The Industrial Revolution?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Wow, was I way off?
That's what this says. That's what I Google.
There were two. There was one that was the time that May is saying too.
And what time, does it say what time frame that was?
1870 to 1914.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
okay.
it's called the Second Industrial Revolution.
Okay, well, whatever. All of the pollution and everything that happened to this planet during that time period. I mean, obviously it's so great to have advancements in certain areas, but it's just such a bummer.
Yes, and for like 100 years it's like we're driving towards a cliff, and there's all these turning points that we could take, and we're just like, whatever.
Nope,
We're
gonna
get
just
eaten by a pterodactyl.
What about you, Fortune?
I was trying to think in my head, like, would I go way back in time, or like a more recent thing, like would I go to where the pandemic started, and however that broke out,
and then have that not happen?
Have that not happen, maybe.
So you're good with a polluted planet?
I mean,
that's it. You're interpreting. Anything else we say now, you're going to be like,
whataboutism. This is not a, if you pick that means you're against this.
No, that is what this is. Okay.
God dang it.
Yeah.
I thought I had to pick something different. We couldn't all go in on the second industrial revolution.
If you cared.
I mean, I do care for sure. I don't want to get eaten by pollution dinosaurs for sure.
What about like in your personal life? Is there any moment in either of your personal lives that you would go back and stop?
I always go back to I wish I never smoked a cigarette in my life.
Yeah, you've said that.
I think about it every day, and I can see the impact that it's had in different areas of my health. And it's like once you lose your health in certain ways, you can't turn back. And it's just such a bummer that like, I just wish I didn't do that.
How long did you smoke?
Oh my God. I smoked from the time, I mean, not consistently, but I started smoking around 8 or 9. And then
really?
Yeah. I was like a real Huckleberry Tig.
How did that happen? How did you get a cigarette at 8 or 9? Just they were laying around?
Everybody in my family smoked, and I could just smoke in my bedroom because the whole house smelled like smoke. So it wasn't like I had to go hide somewhere and do it. The whole place reeked of smoke.
Huckleberry Tig.
That's what my friends used to call me.
I'm picturing you you're in like a kid's bedroom, like your 8-year-old bedroom. You're reading like Charlotte's Web, but you got a cigarette.
No, I'm listening to the Beatles.
Yeah.
I started very casually smoking at that age, and then I would say when I was 11 is when I started smoking. And then by the time I was probably 13, 14, maybe it was a little old. It might have been around 15, 16. I was fully, I had dropped out of school. I was 2 packs a day smoking.
Yeah, we're very similar. Yeah. Same time frame.
I was a big old dork. I had like one puff and I was like...
That's going to hurt my singing voice.
Yeah, you're like, how am I going to hit that big note?
I'm a delicate flower. I can't be smoking on these cigs.
I do wish like the first time I was about to do coke that someone said, you could do a cold plunge. Just get in this ice bath instead.
So is that what you would go back on, May? Is you wouldn't want to do coke, or is there something else?
I think like we've maybe touched on this before, that because I like my life so much right now, I'm always wary to fuck with the past. When a wizard presents me with the opportunity to go back in time and like change something,
Hello.
I'm like, oh,
I'm a wizard.
I'm like, oh, May. I don't trust this guy. Like, would you trust that voice?
May, would you like to go back in time and change one thing? I can do it because I am a wizard.
What is your name?
Why did you choose me, and what's your name?
My name is Willy the Wizard, and I have come to just change one thing. And I promise, if you change that one thing, nothing else bad will happen. Wink, wink.
I do not trust this guy, Tig.
I do. Hey, Willy, what's up?
What's up?
Hey, I'm Tig.
Hello, Tig.
Yes, if you could take cigarettes out of my past, I'd really appreciate it.
Well, I had a mission to grant one person one wish, and this feels like a lot to ask for another, but I guess I can also grant you one wish. There are a few things that might happen if I take that one thing away. Some other things might happen that weren't great.
Like in a photograph of Tig, like people just start fading out. You know what I mean? Like the butterfly effect of that one change.
Can I show you a picture of me long ago smoking a cig?
Hold on, I have to go. Goodbye.
Let me show you. This is about as gay, long-haired smoking as one can get. Changing a tire.
Whoa.
Holy
you look like
shit.
Such a dyke.
Can you send that to us?
Yeah, can we get that on our phones?
Okay.
Tig looks so dykey butch.
And my hair is long.
Your hair's
it's like
so
the gayest
long.
Photo. I'm changing a tire. I've got like grease all over me.
You look like Dave Grohl in Nirvana.
Seriously, that is like album cover material.
Yeah, I should probably post that on social media now that we're talking about it. What am I doing keeping this a secret?
Let the world in.
Well, that's a good one. Taking back the smoke. And May, I think you're not sure about the cocaine because you probably rehab, transformed you in a lot of ways.
Well, I've managed to monetize my trauma in a lot of ways. So I'm like,
well, there. I mean, isn't that what our job is as a comedian?
Sort of, yeah. I think I would go. There's this one night where I was dancing in a bar and having so much fun and feeling really confident. This is recently, like 6 years ago or something. And I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling so like I'm dancing so confidently with all my friends. And because I'm not a natural dancer, but I was like a bit drunk. And then this really beautiful Argentinian woman came up to me and was dancing with me. And I was like, oh my God, yes. And then she leans over and she goes, don't be Pinocchio. And I went, what? And she goes, don't be Pinocchio. You're so stiff like Pinocchio and awkward. It's okay. You can dance. Move. Try and loosen up. And I was like, I will never dance again. I hate you and myself. I went and sat down and I was like, fuck that. Like, I really thought I'd crested a hill with like dancing. So that's maybe I'd go back and I'd take away the woman saying, don't be Pinocchio. Because every time I dance, I think, don't be Pinocchio.
I wouldn't take away any of the big hard things that happen because, like you're saying, May, I do think that builds a lot of things that you need for other obstacles later in life. I would maybe go back and eat more fruit and vegetables and have it be something that like is such a part of my life as a kid that I like love it and crave it as an adult.
It might have messed with the suppositories though.
That's probably why I was taking suppositories. I didn't have enough fruit and vegetables.
Right. Probably wouldn't need those.
I gotta save my butt from all those suppositories if I had just eaten some Brussels sprouts.
If you needed to have somebody help you with a suppository, would you ask Jax?
Oh, I thought you were going to volunteer.
No. I don't care what medical situation you were in. I would not do that for you.
I would do it. Of course.
Plugging some butts with the handsome pod. Plugging some butts with the handsome pod.
I'm asking about this because one of my favorite stories that Kevin Nealon has told is when he and his wife Susan first met. He was so constipated.
Oh no.
I can't stop telling everybody this story, but he was so constipated, he was in fetal position when she came over for a date.
What?
And he was like, what? Can you go get a suppository for me, please? And,
wow.
And he said the image he used that just kills me is that he said that, and she did this. She inserted the suppository.
No.
On a first
I don't know if it was
dates?
first. It was the first couple of dates. He said it was like trying to insert a suppository into a brick wall.
Oh my God.
And he said that after she did it, he thought, oh gosh, now she's seen this. Should I push her down the stairs and kill her?
Or marry her?
Yeah.
Kill her or marry her.
Yes. And they're still together. But
wow,
one of my
true love.
I don't know why I love that story so much. I guess it truly just sounds really like funny. The worst nightmare possible.
If I was Susan, I would think this guy's he's got a suppository fetish. He's pretending he wants me to. Yeah. I'm way too. Like I as soon as I'm sick or have to, like I wish Parvati thought I was like a machine. Like I don't want to show any vulnerability and I want to always look so fresh. But when I do get sick and I have to like accept care in that way, I'm like, I suddenly turn so soppy. Like I would propose to any of you right now. Like I get very romantic and kind of like insecure. Like I'm scared I'm going to propose in my sleep.
You like
or
to
something.
be cared for, nurtured.
No, do you think I do? And I think I hate it, and I get so like.
It seems like you love it. It once
seems
it
like
happens.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so, wait, is that like your biggest fear of proposing?
Yeah, yeah, in my sleep, just because I'm so insecure that I'm being seen as
as vulnerable,
fallible, and human, and not like a kind of sex robot. That I'm like, oh God, I guess. Oh, will you marry me? Like that? I don't know.
They don't see me as a sex robot anymore.
That's what you want to be seen as.
You want to be a sex robot.
Yes, completely.
Wow.
But I love to care for people, and I'm not squeamish at all. And like I love when people are like, I had a girlfriend who used to every morning we'd wake up.
People are sick.
I love when people are sick. I dated this woman who every morning when we would wake up, she had like stomach problems. she at first, like, she thought I was still asleep, and I would just hear her, I'd feel her body tense, and then she'd be like, "Fart." And I go, "Did you just fart?" And she's like, "Oh God, sorry, I just," anyway, and then
was it Debbie?
Yeah. "Oh, sorry, May." Oh, yeah. No, but then it turned out that I was not it didn't turn me on, but I was like, it's so cool that you're confident enough to just fart on me in bed. It started to almost, like, it wasn't a fart fetish, but I was like, it's so badass, because she stopped trying to hide it. So we'd wake up and she'd just go and fart, and I'd be like crying laughing, and I was like, it's really cool, because I would never in a million years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, kind of, or no?
About the fetish?
Just how cool it is if someone's like that unembarrassed about farting, and it's like, it's hot, because they're like, I know you're so obsessed with me that you won't even care if I just fart. Of you guys, I think I'd probably feel most comfortable, weirdly, having Thomas put a suppository. I find him really calming. He's got a very nurturing energy. Do you find that, Tig?
Yeah, he's very nurturing. I mean, he's nurtured me for nearly a decade.
Yeah.
I like to think I've nurtured him in ways as well.
No suppositories so far, though.
But I would do it.
Yeah.
Tombus would say, all right, I've gotten 3 brands. I Googled, and these are the top leading brands. And I went to the internet and I Googled, what is the best way to insert said suppository?
I found the best suppository for each of you as individuals.
Yeah,
this one is better for you, Fortune, because it has, and then you list these things.
Fruits and vegetables. Now, Thomas, would you suppository us?
Would you suppository us?
Yeah, if you needed that.
In a crisis.
Yeah, and
or just out of laziness.
I don't think so. Out of laziness.
If I was like, Thomas, hey, I'm so tired, but I totally need a suppository.
Would you
like, can't
suppository
Stephanie
me?
do it?
Oh, she's tired too.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay.
That was pretty easy. That didn't take. That was impressive.
What if you ask Willy the Wizard? I'll do it, but I'm going to need some things in return.
What is that, Willy?
2 years of gold.
Yes. 2 years of gold?
Oh my God.
2 years of gold.
2 years of gold.
I'm starting to think.
You know how much that is.
I'm starting to think that Willy the Wizard is just a random guy off the street who wandered in.
No, May. I'm starting to think Willy the Wizard is just Fortune Feimster.
What? How dare you?
Yeah,
How dare
2
you?
years of gold. How? So wait, is it 2 years consistently?
You know exactly
gold?
how much that is. Don't act like you don't.
That is what my kids would have said when they were like 3. They would be like, you owe me 2 years of gold. Because I would ask them like they always would guess people's ages, people's weight, all that kind of stuff.
I don't want them to play that game with me.
And they would probably be like, you probably weigh 2 weeks and 4 pounds. Nothing would make sense. And that's what I'm on to with Willy the Wizard.
Well, he disappeared. I don't know where he went.
He got embarrassed.
And also it was a he?
Yeah, Willy.
Yeah,
he.
Willy.
God.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you guys are so caught in gender norms that Willy can't be
Wilhelmina.
Or non-binary.
Willy told you what he
everyone.
needed, and he left. Would you suppository us? That's the new test of love.
You know, you were just saying about your kids being funny, and then it made me think of some funny stuff that this 5-year-old I live with said. And I don't want to be that person, but I have to. I got no outlet for this because I don't really do it in stand-up. But we were playing Go Fish, and I go, "Do you have a 6?" And she looks and she goes, "No." And I went, "Oh, damn." And she goes, "You're in Hollywood, babe." She's fine. It was really good. You're in Hollywood, babe.
You're in Hollywood, babe.
We were eating, and she has like a stuffed animal pig, and she kept saying like the pig was my friend, and then out of nowhere she goes, "May's ancestors are pigs." I was like, "Where'd you learn the word ancestor?"
Where'd she learn the word pigs?
Mayfax.
May's ancestors are pigs. I wrote it down because I thought you should like open an email address and email yourself all the funny shit that Max and Finn say so you don't forget it.
Didn't I tell you I have a document for their whole life? It goes on for pages.
Oh my God.
I date everything. It's an ongoing document that I've written down. And when I'm out of town, I have Stephanie text it to me. If they say anything funny, and I add it to the doc. And it's so old that the subject title is baby quotes.
Oh,
and
my God.
They're going to be 8 in June.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And when are you going to give it to them, like on their 16th birthday or something?
Well, I erased it.
Oh.
No.
Oh, such a twist. Yeah, I decided, fuck it.
Yeah, just got rid of it. So should we see what Conan has to say?
Yes.
Okay, Handsome Pod, here's my answer. I'd go back to 1987, and I would stop the manufacture and sale of compact discs. Yeah, turned out it was a waste of time. We all bought compact discs. We were told it was really great. Great way to listen to music as a digital. And then, whatever. Short time afterwards, they said, forget it. And by then, I had spent easily, maybe, I don't know, $15,000 on compact discs, often buying the same album over and over and over again, which is on me. I don't know why I did that. It was a compulsive thing. I don't know. I'm thinking about it now, and I'm thinking, really? Compact discs? What about stopping World War II? I didn't think of that. I should probably go back and say I'd stop World War II. Shit. I didn't think about this enough. Okay. All right. Well, it's too late. I'm going with compact discs. Compact discs, 1987, not World War II. Damn it.
Did you guys buy a lot of CDs? I think that's really made me think, that answer. Well, I guess similar with like Blu-ray and like VHS.
I had a lot of CDs, yeah.
You still have them?
I think I finally tossed them when we sold our house. I had like the big, what do you call these things? The stacks that were in a thing that you flipped.
CD stacks?
Like it's
sure.
Yeah.
No, but the folder thing.
Yeah.
I love CDs.
You
Loved
do?
them. I was kind of bummed when everything went digital. I was like, oh, this isn't as fun.
Well, because now you don't really own anything, right?
Yeah, it's all just out there.
I liked having to choose one CD to take out for the day on my Discman, and you'd listen to the whole album all the way through, and then, it would always skip, so you'd have to hold your Discman kind of flat.
I used to be so stoked to get the CD because it had all the lyrics in the little folder thing.
And then you could sing along.
Because that's before you could Google the lyrics, anything. So I was like, oh, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, I loved reading the lyrics and also looking at any pictures that were on the inside sleeve. Oh, I guess I'm thinking more of vinyl right now, but I loved vinyl record sleeves. Pull that out.
We should have just skipped CDs and tapes and stuck with vinyl, right?
Easy to play in the car.
There was nothing better than someone making you a mixtape. That means they were really digging you.
I used to make mixtapes with and I made one called like comedy mixtape, and so I would rent from Blockbuster my favorite. It would be like Billy Madison with Adam Sandler, and I'd like fast forward and find the funniest lines, and then I'd record them onto the mixtape, and then so I had this compilation of just like funny lines from movies and comics, and like I'd put on like my mom's Steve Martin vinyl, and then like record a line of him being like, excuse me. So it was just a psychotic tape of just like just mismatched.
Wow.
I love it.
Well, that was a real treat to have Conan O'Brien visit the Handsome Pod.
Truly an honor.
Is there anything we want to talk about before we head out of here?
Well, we have a live streaming show happening February 12th. We're doing a show at the Dynasty Typewriter. It's going to be all about love, but not just for our friends and relationships, for our single friends as well. We're going to talk about all things, talking about whatever your questions are regarding that. It can be also about coming out. It could be about meeting people. It could be about our experiences, whatever you want. We can also give advice. It's going to be so fun, and you can watch it from anywhere.
I think we've sold out the in-person tickets already, but you can stream it from anywhere in the world, and you go to dynastytypewriter.com and you get the link and you can watch it for like a whole week. Even if your time zone is different, you can watch it whenever you want.
I might dress as a pretty little lady.
Please.
Oh my God, please.
Whatever your version of handsome is, that's what we want.
You should dress as you changing the tire on the long hair, cigarette, backwards cap.
Full of grease.
Do you guys have any shows that you want to promote?
Well, I have a show that Stephanie and I have been doing called She Said, at Largo. And it's where we talk about our family and each other and issues that have come up.
It's like my dream comedy show is watching you and Stephanie talk. Like that's so great. I will be there.
Well, it is very fun, and that's at Largo. And then I have some shows at Dynasty Typewriter, and then I'm also going to be in Peekskill, New York, on March 8th. And then they added another show in Waterville, Maine, on March 10th. Come on out and we'll see you there. What about you, Fortune?
February 9th, my second show at the Paramount Theater in Denver, Colorado. Has a few tickets left. Poughkeepsie, New York, in mid-February. We added a second show, Madison and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Then I have Houston, Texas, Wilmington, North Carolina. Added a second show in Durham, North Carolina. Added a third show in Seattle. LA, doing that, and then the Beacon in New York City. I'm excited for these. Those are going to be some fun show at Massey Hall in Toronto. So I'll be touring until May, and you can get tickets at fortunefeimster.com.
Nice.
Speaking of May, I'm May.
Yeah, May.
I've got actually live streaming two nights at the Elysian on the 15th and 16th of February with Stephanie Allen, Tig's wife, and Alana Johnston. We're doing 2 nights in a row of improv that we're going to also live stream. So you can get tickets to that. And then I'm at Largo on the 24th of February with amazing guests. I got Zooey Deschanel. It's going to be sick.
Last but not least, we have merch.
Yes.
We have great merch, some really cool stuff. So check it out. People have been sending us their pictures with their handsome shirts on and hats and all the stickers. It's so cool seeing people out in the world being handsome.
Seeing people at our shows too, like our live shows wearing the merch. It's very surreal and very cool. And as always, we're so grateful to everyone for listening and getting into the pod.
Yeah.
Really, it's so exciting.
You can get that merch at handsomepod.com. So go do that. And as we always say, tell your friends about the show.
Subscribe, tell friends, share an episode. If you have a favorite episode, share it with who you think would like it. It's really fun to watch the show grow. And I don't know, until next time.
Keep it handsome.